తెప్పించు కుదిరితే అక్కడ తెప్పించు కుదిరితే తినలేక కారంగా ఉంటుంది టేస్ట్ ఉంటుంది ఓకే వెరీ గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ గైస్ yeah, so last day we just been completed up okay, last day we completed migrations and code-based migrations is one thing what I completed, and the second thing is model first approach. The second thing what we have done is the model first approach. So many of the people just was informing that we don't know about the class. I said in the classroom very clearly, there is a class now. If you're absent on Saturday, it's not my problem. Okay, anyhow, asking the management to provide the video of it. I'll just give the video, but make it not repeated. If you're absent, I don't know, sir, there's a class. Next time I can't help you. Okay, for this time, I asked to provide the video. We'll be giving with the video. Okay. Yeah. The next thing what we are going to learn today, guys, it is about working with the databases using ADO.NET. Today, we'll be learning about working with databases using ADO.NET. Actually, in MVC, we can work with databases using three different approaches. We can work with the database using three different approaches actually. What are the three different approaches? The first one, link to link. The first one is link. Second one, NT framework. And third option is ADO.NET. Actually, first one is ADO.NET here. To be clear, we need to list it like this one. The first one is ADO.NET. Second one is LinkU, and the third one is NT framework. If you guys recollect, LinkU, when I explained about link, I said, link is built on the top of ADO.NET. Link is built on the top of ADO.NET. It was built on the top of ADO.NET. So link is tightly coupled with ADO.NET. So link is built on the top of ADO.NET actually. Are you clear? Okay. So because this link is built on the top of ADO, NT framework is built on the ADO.NET. So ADO.NET is the base functionality. So mainly the first important thing that can be used for communicating with the databases is ADO.NET. ADO.NET is a primary thing. Okay, later on the top of it, to make the developer job easier, link came, NT framework came. Coding with ADO.NET is a bit lengthy. Coding with ADO.NET is going to be a bit lengthy. If you and that's the reason why mainly, guys, when I teach C#, in C#, ADO.NET was taught. In C# classes, ADO.NET was taught you. So in the C#, most of you people who have completed up their things, you learn ADO.NET in the C# classes. So in C#, you basically have the idea of ADO.NET. So the same ADO.NET is what we are just going to use it, but coding will be a bit lengthy. Coding will be a very bit lengthy here. Let's see how to work with link using ADO.NET today. I'm going to give you an example here because we really, even though it is a basic fundamental, in the real time, when you are building MVC applications, most of the times what they use is NT framework only. Most of the times what they use is entity framework than ADO.NET. But if any case there is a need or there is a reason like you need to work, for that particular reason I'm teaching you about ADO.NET. Otherwise, the most important thing is NT framework only, not ADO.NET. When you're building a C# application or when you're building in mostly web forms applications, C# and web forms applications, ADO.NET is fine. But when you're building MVC applications, mostly what they use is NT framework only. And that NT framework, I explained you a lot. Code first, DB first, model first, in code first, various inheritance strategies, lots of things I just taught you in ADO.NET 5. Am I clear? Well, so today, we'll focus on how do we use ADO.NET to work with the databases. Guys, this is the introduction part I given you in the C# notes also. Who had done your ASP.NET web forms, but web forms also I just given all these things. The same thing only, nothing to explain you. And here point is we are not learning the basics of ADO.NET. We are not learning the basics of ADO.NET, put that in the mind. Reason, because that is not taught in NT framework at all. Basically, NT framework doesn't cover ADO.NET here. Out of my interest, okay, let me show at least one example. I'm just covering that's all. But NT framework means we don't teach ADO.NET at all. Is that clearer? Sorry, MVC means we don't teach ADO.NET at all. Just out of my interest, okay, let me show you one example. Tomorrow, if there's any need anywhere, you should be in a position to work and I'm showing it. That's it. It's my interest. Okay? It's not a part of your syllabus. It's not a part of your syllabus. It's just upon my interest. I'm teaching you ADO.NET to you in the classroom. Okay. Fine. All these things you learned up there. If you recollect about this, what is ADO.NET? How do we use ADO.NET? Okay. And the libraries of ADO.NET, the different namespaces you have. 5 namespaces. Remember? System.data, data.odbc, data.oldb, data.sql client, data.oracle client, and all these things. Fine. I just given that introduction part here. You can just go through it. This is the introduction to your ADO.NET, what you have learned. Yeah. So now I'll just directly focus on writing the code, guys. I'll just directly focus on writing the code. Like how do we use ADO.NET and work with the databases? Actually, when you are using ADO.NET for writing the code, okay, guys, remember this right now. When you are using ADO.NET for writing the code, the DAL is very important. Actually, maximum guys, one day or one time or 2 times only we focused on the DAL. Remaining all the times, we have skipped off the DAL and implemented all our logic. Am I correct? The DAL logic was maximum skipped. We just tried to avoid the DAL code in all the appropriate places. We just only focused on directly putting off our code in the controller only without again writing the DAL code. Correct? Okay. So basically the main important thing here is we'll be maximum avoiding the DAL code in that. But when you come here, DAL code is very, very important. Data logic layer is very, very important. We will be writing the DAL code completely. So will be a lot of DAL code that we come across here. Am I clear? Okay. So fine. Now let us just try to understand about how to use ADO.NET and implement the things. Mainly the focus will be on writing the DAL. The focus will be on writing the DAL for you here, data access layer. And in the data access layer, you'll be completely using ADO.NET and you will be fetching up the data from that. You'll be fetching up the data from the databases. So let me explain to you how to use this and how to implement this to fetch the data. So what is important here? Writing the DAL logic. The important thing is writing the DAL logic. So let me focus on that. Data access layer here. We talked about it already. Now you're asking what is DAL. We already discussed about DAL, right? We already discussed about the DAL. What is DAL and all these things are just already demonstrated to you. Okay. Fine. Let's see how to work with ADO.NET and how to access the data with the help of the ADO.NET. Fine. Now I'm going to create a project. Look, a new project. MVC with ADO. Create. MVC. Configure for HTTPS. It's remote. Guys, watch it. I wanted to I want to use a model class. I just wanted to define a model class, and my model is student. Student. Okay. So here we are not using NT framework or something to drag and drop and just get this. This is pure ADO.NET manual coding. So that's why you need to define your class on your own first. Hold on, guys, not responding. Okay. First step. Go to the models folder. Add a class here. We'll name the class as student. We'll work with our student. We already have a student. Student. Now come to the attributes of the student. Recollect here. What are the attributes of a student? I'm using a data annotation here to get student ID. To get the student ID, I'm using a data annotation. Okay, now the display name. Fine. So this is my model class, student. Second thing what you just require to do is you're required to go for writing the connection string in the config file to access the data. Connection string. Go to web.config. And you guys know how to write a connection string. I don't require to give you an explanation for you now. Write the connection string. I'm not creating a new database here. Only in code first only that happens. But reminding all, we are going to work with existing databases only. Correct. And I am working with the old database. What is your database? MVCDB, and this table student is also our existing table only. Not only that, here on the student table you have already defined the procedures also. Remember, I will use those procedures only now. I will use those procedures only in accessing up your data. I'll use those procedures to access your particular data. Okay, so fine. Now, we are defined the student class and also the web.config. The next important thing is the DAL class, the data access layer. The next important thing is defining the DAL class here. That's nothing but the data access layer. So let's start from there, defining the DAL class, the data access layer. Okay. So let's do that, DAL class. See, when you want to write the DAL class here, I want to write a class with the name called as student DAL. Have a look. In the models folder, add a class, student dal. Okay, we want to work with ADO.NET. What's our database? SQL Server. So which one is better? ODBC, OLDB, SQL Client. SQL Client. So using system.data.SQL Client and also using system.data. System.data for data set. System.data for data set. Guys, remember, I'm going to perform all these operations by using store procedures, procedure calls, not direct SQL statements. What is it? Procedure calls. Because you already learned in SQL statements, if you write SQL statements in your C# audio, if you write SQL statements in the application, all the statements will be sent to the database for parsing and then they will be executing. So every time you run, they will be parsed and executed. If at all you want to minimize it, the best option, write stored procedures. And already in the link classes you learned, I am not teaching any new procedure here. In the link we learned about writing a procedure. Now, those procedures only I'll use. Okay. So the best option is writing the stored procedures, but not a direct SQL statement. So we'll see calling procedures and performing our activities. To work with ADO.NET, the two important things what I have is, the first thing is a connection. I need a connection to connect to the database. There's a class which will help you in connecting. The second one what I want is a command to call the stored procedures. To call the stored procedure. This is responsible for establishing a connection. This is responsible for calling the stored procedures. Next, I'll define a constructor, public student dal. I want to read the connection string from the config file. I want to read the connection string from the config file. If that is the case, you're required to import system.configuration. Why? Configuration manager is a class to read from the connections config file now. Okay. So let's see. String constr is equals to what's it? Configuration manager dot connection strings of, what is the key name? Constr dot, what do you want to read? Connection string. So you're pointing to the constr and reading the connection string, which will come and store in the variable constr. Okay. Next, con is equals to new SQL connection. Con is equals to new SQL connection and passing the constr now. Next, cmd is equals to new SQL command. I'm just going to create a SQL command class instance. SQL command. And actually guys, for a command, when you create the instance of the command main requires few parameters, 3 parameters it requires. First parameter, connection. Second parameter, command text. Third parameter, command type. What is the command type? Do you want to call SQL statements? Do you want to execute SQL statements? Or do you want to call stored procedures? You want to execute SQL statements or you want to call stored procedures? That is what. So let us set all the things. First, cmd.connection is equals to con. Now we want to write SQL statements or call stored procedures. cmd.command type is equals to command type dot stored procedure. What is the third parameter command requires? Command text. Command text refers to procedure name. And very importantly, guys, I'm not writing the procedure name here. Why, sir? Because I wanted to execute 4 different procedures here, not 1. Are you clearer or not? How many? 4 separate procedures are what I want to execute, not 1. So that's the reason why I'm not writing any procedure name here. I'm not writing any procedure name here. Then where will you write the procedure name? I will be writing the procedure name. I will be writing the procedure name when I'm going to call it. I'll tell the procedure name when I'm going to call it. Okay. And guys, now to call each procedure, I want to write one method in my code. 4 procedures now. 4 methods so that we will cover a controller and call the methods there. Understood my point? We'll go to the controller and call the methods there now. So let us write the methods to call the procedures now. First one, public student get student. The first method is to get the student. I am passing 2 parameters to it. First parameter SID, second parameter status. This is a mandatory parameter, this is an optional parameter. If I pass only SID, recollect, I already explained you in link. If I pass only SID, it has to get me the student based on the SID, irrespective of the status. Can be active, can be inactive, but it has to get. But if I pass this SID with this Boolean value true, it should get me the record only when the status is true. If I pass false, it should get me only when the status is false. If it is null, should get me the student irrespective of the status. I hope you understand my point. Okay, so what are the SID? I'm passing an SID comma true. Should get me active. Should get me the student only when it is active. Should get me the student only when it is inactive. Should get me irrespective of the status. Might be active, might be inactive. Should get me irrespective of the status. So SID is mandatory. This is optional. Nullable. It's nullable. Okay now? Fine. Let's see how to do it. Let's see how are we going to do the things. Guys, listen. What is the written type? Student. So student is equals to null. I'm declaring a student as a null value. Now I'm putting my code in the try catch block. All of you watch it. Try catch exception X finally. I'm writing all the 3 blocks. And below this I'll say return what? Return student. But right now student is null. Yes or not? Okay, no worries. I'll tell you what to do now. Now, I want to call a stored procedure to perform this action now. Now here I'll say cmd dot command text is equals to the procedure name. What is the procedure name? Student underscore select. And for this, you just require to pass the parameters. What are the parameters? SID. Second parameter is optional. If you don't send it, default value null. And what it has to load you? Irrespective of the status, it has to load me the data. So what is mandatory parameter? SID. How do you pass a parameter to a procedure? cmd dot parameters dot add with value. Remember? cmd dot parameters dot add with value. What is the parameter name? SID. What is the parameter value? SID. Array, this is the parameter name in the procedure. Go and check your procedure. This is the value what you are passing. Next. The status is mandatory or optional? Optional. If it is null, I don't require to send it now. When should I send? If it is not null. If it is not null. So what I'm doing now, I'm checking a condition. If status not equal to null. If status is not equal to null, cmd dot parameters dot add with value at the rate status comma at the rate status comma status. At the rate status comma status. I'm just going to pass on the values. So if the status is not null, I'll pass. And remember, first time not a problem. Oh guys, I'm so sorry. I'm writing in the catch block. So my mistake, I should write in the try block, not in the catch block. Okay. Well, and very importantly, remember this, when you're adding this add with value, will append parameters. First time not a problem, second time error will come. Do you remember? I just told you in the C# also. First time not a problem. Second time when you try to call, it will append the parameter, multiple parameters will come. So before adding a parameters, I said make a habit of clearing the old parameters. First clear the old parameters and then only add the parameters to it. Yeah, you're right. And I written wrong. Okay. So first what you'll do, you will tell the person name. Then clear the old parameters. Then add the new parameters. Okay. What next? Con dot open will open the connection. Now I wanted to execute this procedure and load the data into, I want to execute this procedure and load the data into a data set. Into a data set. My data loading should be done into data set, not a data reader. I want to load into a data set. Are you clear? Okay, I want to load this into, otherwise, okay, data reader is fine. No need data set. We'll load into a data reader. SQL data reader dr is equals to SQL data reader dr is equals to cmd dot execute reader. So this method will execute the statement and load the data into data reader. So where is the data? The data is in the data reader. If dr dot read means it will put the pointer to the first record. If data present, if data is not present, it is just not going to go inside the if condition now. If data not present, it won't enter the if condition at all. Okay. So if dr dot read, if data existing, what to do? Writing the code, say initialize the student first. Initialize the student. You are creating the student instance. And now you're going to assign the value. What? Student dot sid is equals to convert dot 2 into 32 of dr of sid. In the data reader, you have your data. Now you're picking the data. What is that? SID. Assigned to student.sid. Same now. Come on. Student dot name is equals to dr of name dot toString. Next, student dot class is equals to convert dot 2 into 32 of dr of class. Why? Because you know that the data is an object format and I need to do all my conversions basically. What next, guys? Class is over. Fees. Student dot fees is equals to convert dot 2 decimal dr of fees. Next, photo. That is string only. Photo is string only. Student dot photo is equals to dr of photo dot toString. Now tell me, is the student initialized with all the values or not? How many students here? One only. One student only, but initialized with all the values. Okay, now tell me, if there is any error in the execution process, the control jumps to catch block. What you will do in the catch block, you know, in the catch block, throw EX. I already explained to you in the DAL code, this error should be thrown to the controller. Controller should show the error message to user. Okay, throw EX. Finally, what you write in the finally? Con dot close. You are going to close the connection here. That's it. Understood? Yeah, basically, there we get lists here, but here we don't get list. The data will come for you in the form of a data reader or a data set, which will be loaded. You go and check out your link example if you want. It is the same code, the first link example code. Only difference, you know, on the day the data came in a list. We written a query and the data came as a list. But today the data is coming in a data reader, not a list. It's a data reader. Data reader is a class that holds you the data in a tabular format. You're picking one by one value. Okay, done. I'm done with this. Get student. What next? Get students. The next method is get students. I want to get the students now. Copy this code as it is. Paste it. Just I'll make the change. Get students. For getting the students, ID is not required. What you need is only a boolean. If I pass null there, should get me all the students. If I pass null there, it should get me all the students. If I pass true there, it should get me active students. Otherwise, inactive students. Is that clear? Okay, simple. If I pass null there, don't send anything to the database. If I pass null there, don't send anything to database. If I pass true or false, send it to the database. That's all. Now see, your return type is not a student, guys. What is the return type? List of student. I'm sorry, I did not change here. I should change here first. The return type is not student. The return type is list of student. List now, multiple records. Now, I'm getting now list of students is equals to new list of student. Creating a new list of student. Again, cmd.command text is equals to person name is same. Parameters are clear. And guys, no need SID. This condition is same. If status is not equal to null, pass it. If it is null, don't pass it. If you don't pass, all records will come. Okay now? What next? Con.open. This is also same now. What is the difference now is, the difference is, it's not one student. Now, this should be a while loop because we have multiple records, not single record. This should be a while loop, and in the while loop, you will be getting up all the records. When you're getting up the records, what you require to do, inside of it, you need to create one by one student and add it to students. What you should do here, see, student is giving error, see. Why? Student is not declared anywhere. What is this? This is students, not student. So what will you do here? First, inside of it, student is equals to new student. A new student is created. Now tell me, when the loop runs, every iteration one student is created. Am I correct? Every iteration one student is created. Now in the end, what you will do? Students dot add what? Every iteration you are getting one student and adding to the list now. Tomorrow my table contains 10 records. 10 are added in the list. 10 are added in the list. Remaining all the code is same. But only thing, lastly, return students. Same code only now. We are looping it here. That's all. There it is single record, but here it is multiple records. So we are looping. There it is one student. So we created student and return. But here list of students. So every loop iteration, one student is created, added to the list, and finally the list is what we are returning back again. The list is what we are returning back again. This is all about get students. Okay, done. What next? We need a method for insert. We need a method for update. We need a method for delete. Come on, we'll write the method for insert. Public. Return type I'm taking integer, guys. Return type is integer. Insert underscore student. What do you pass? Model object. Student. Okay. Now I'm declaring a variable int count is equals to 0. Try catch exception ex, throw ex. This is same. Finally, what you write in finally? Con dot close. What next? Return count. What is count? The count is going to tell the number of records that are affected. The count is going to tell the number of records affected. Means how many rows are inserted. How many rows are inserted. Okay, that's what it tells. Okay, guys, have a look. cmd.command text is equals to, write your person name. What is the person name? Student underscore insert. Student underscore insert is your person name. Next, cmd.parameters. Clear the parameters. Okay, now start adding the values to it. cmd.parameters.add with value. What was parameter? SID. Where is the SID? Student.SID. Student.SID. Same process, repeat. Second one, name. Third one, class. Fourth one, piece. Yeah, last one also I'll do. ID, name, class, fees. Okay, class and fees. Tell me one thing. Photo is mandatory or optional? Photo is optional. So photo is an optional parameter. Photo is not a mandatory parameter. So that's why tomorrow photo may be present or may not be present. For that reason, I'm putting a small condition here. What is the condition? If photo not equal to null. So guys, understand if photo, not photo, student.photo. I typed it wrong. Student.photo not equal to null and student.photo.length not equal to 0. What is the meaning of that? It is not a null value and also not length 0, not an empty string, not an empty string. Student.photo.length not equal to 0. I'm just putting two conditions here. Okay, photo.length not equal to 0. If this is the case, then only I want to pass the photo. cmd.parameters not add with value. What should I pass? Photo. And here, student.photo. Student.photo, passing on all the parameter values. That's not mandatory, that's only optional. Okay, fine. What next? Con.open. What is the method I should use now? Execute on query. Insert में scalar है. On query. So count is equals to cmd.execute non-query. The execute non-query statement will execute for you. And finally, you're writing the count. Rest of the things are done already here. If the count is 0, failed. If the count is greater than 0, success. That's only the indication now. But initially I put 0. If it did not execute, count will be 0. If it executed, count will be 1. If I get 1 means success. If I get 0 means failure. Okay now. So this is what. What next? Update. One thing I'll tell you. Insert, update, delete. Code is same. I already said in ADO.NET also. Insert, update, delete code is same. Only parameters can vary. That's all. Insert code, update code, delete code is always same. Let me copy the same method as it is. Test it again. Come on. Method name is update student. Here I'm calling insert student and here I'm calling update student. Here it is insert student. Here it is update student. What are you passing is the same. Person name student underscore update. Student underscore update. And here also the parameter structure is same only. What to pass? ID, name, class, fees. And also the photo condition is also same. Everything same. Nothing different. Same code only. Nothing to change. What is changed here? I only changed the name of the method and the name of the procedure. Rest of the code is same on. Because insert also requires 5 parameters. Update also requires 5 parameters. What next? Delete. Delete code also same, sir? Yes. Delete code is also same. But for delete, the number of parameters are only 1. For delete, the number of parameters is only 1. Okay. Watch. What is this? Delete student. Here, student underscore delete. And remove all the parameters here. And one thing, for delete, no need to pass student. For delete, what you can pass? SID enough now. For delete, int SID. So directly without all this nonsense, you can straight away pass off the SID and complete your task. That's all. One and only one parameter, what you need to pass and call the execute and all the things are same. That's it here. This is the DAL class. Using ADO.NET, you're required to write the DAL class. Once this DAL class is ready, our controller and model views all same only now. Nothing to talk about them separately. Did you catch my point? Our controller code, Rest of everything is same. You can go for adding a controller and complete this code. You go and check it out here. The first example in link. The methods are same, return types are same, all these are same. Only thing, on the day we used link and loaded the data. Today we used ADO.NET and loaded the data. But controller code will not change. Check it out. Add a controller. Student, student. Import model namespace. MVC with ADO dot models. Import the models namespace. 2. Now not the context class, create the DAL class instance. Student DAL obj is equals to new student DAL. And then start writing the methods. Public view result display students. Public view result display student. Is it not the same methods you learned earlier? Next. HTTP get public view result. Add student. HTTP post. Public redirect to route result. Add student. What should you pass? Student. And also the second thing, HTTP posted file. HTTP posted file. Sorry. What's it? Selected file. HTTP posted file is selected file. Next. Public view result. Edit student. What it requires? Yes ID. Public redirect to route result. Update student. What do you pass? Student and HTTP posted file base selected file. Are you clear? So we are just going to perform the things now. Now one more method. Public redirect to route result delete student. What do you pass? Yes ID. Done. Delete student yes ID. Come on, can you help me in writing the code now? First method. Display student. Remember, here you written a method. What is the method? Get students. Correct? What is the written type? List. List of student. List of student. Students is equals to obj dot get students. Get students and simply pass true there to get the active student records. To simplify this, directly write where there. I already explained you a number of times to simplify that where there. What next? Return view students. Here also where student is equals to obj dot get student. What should I pass? Yes ID, comma, true. Return view what? Student. Return view student. Done. Return view student. What next? Add student. When you are adding a student, what do you do? Array, nothing to do, guys. Return view, blank view. When you are adding a student in the post method, you need to write all this coding. What code? If selected file not equals to Null means if the selected file is going to have any value. String physical path is equals to server dot map path tilde slash uploads tilde slash uploads. What next? If what guys, directory dot my server dot map path is coming. Directory, if not directory dot exists, if it is not existing, what? Physical path. It is not existing. What will you do? Directory dot create directory and pass the physical path, creating the directory. Okay, now you're just going to create the directory and this. What next? If everything, after creating the directory, the next step, selected file dot save as. For these two parameters, one is physical path, concatenate with selected file dot file name. I am rewriting the code, but I explained each and every line to you already. Okay, done. What next? Once the saving is completed, student dot photo is equals to selected file dot file name. Once the save is completed, you will be assigning the photo is equals to file name. See, if it doesn't enter into the if condition, this is null. Array, if it doesn't enter the if condition, this is null. Otherwise, it will have the file name. What next? Obj dot what is the method name? Insert student. The method name is insert student. What are you passing? Student. Insert student and student. Okay. So we have a method called get student, get students, insert student, update student, and delete student. Yeah. Now here in the controller, first we are calling get students, next you're calling get a student, and this is all. Oh wow, a small mistake here. In your printout, there is a small mistake, all of you. Just correct it. The edu.net coding, obj dot add student I called there. Obj dot insert student. Small correction there. Insert student. Obj dot insert student is the method name. Sorry. Update student is correct only. Delete student is also correct only. There only I made the mistake. Okay. What next? Return. Redirect to action. Redirect to action. Display students. That's it. Display students. Okay, now when you come to edit, do you remember for edit, this photograph is required. So first, for edit, what to do? You need to create a student instance, correct? Student is equals to obj dot get student sid comma true. SID comma true. You're passing SID comma true. You're getting the student record. You're getting the student record over there. Okay. Next. Temp data. Remember this one? Temp data of photo is equals to student dot photo. I'm going to store that one now. Next. Return view. What should I pass? The student. I should pass the student. Okay. Now come to update. In update, first, this if condition, this file code is same only now. Array, only thing is we'll have an else part here, that's all. We'll have a else part. Otherwise, the file code is same only here. Okay, all these things. the file code. If existing, we are going to do all the appropriate thing. What next? If this is not existing, what will you do? It is not existing. What will you do? Not existing. I need to take the value from. The temp data. I need to take the value from the temp data now. How do you do? Else student dot photo is equals to temp data of photo dot toast. Temp data photo dot toasting. If existing, we'll take the value from there. If not existing, we'll take the value from the temp data. From the temp data, value has to come. The same way, the same only else part is new here. That's all. What next? Obj dot update student. Update student. What should I pass? Student. Next. Return redirected to action where display students. Now finally delete. Delete is very simple. What will you do? Obj dot delete student passing yes side. Next, return redirect to action and call display students. This action methods code is exactly the same thing what I already explained for you in the in your link to SQL classes. I'm not writing anything newly here. Finally, the last step. What is the last step? Create all the views. Create all the views. Come on, let's do. First view, display students. Right click, add view. Yeah, IEnumerable students, and this is the same table what we have for displaying the student data. What next? Display student. Add view. When you're adding, we know this now. Choose empty, choose student, so that it'll write the model statement on the top. So we can write the rest of the code. We can write rest of the code. Next, add student, add view. Student. What next? Edit. Edit. Start from display students. One thing, run this code. We have some existing students in the table now. Those photographs are required for us now. Did you understand? Are existing? Then it will search for the photos in my current project folder. We don't have them now. How many students are there? Let me see. So that we'll copy paste them. Let open. Select start from student. 9 records are there. Some are deleted. Okay, we'll do one thing. Update student set status is equals to 1. So everything is an active record only. So before going to run the project, let us add a folder here. What is the folder name? Uploads. We are adding a folder here. Open folder in File Explorer and copy that images and paste them here. I have the images in E drive, guys. Copy them and paste. Done. Enough here. Start run. Run. If you have any confusions, put breakpoints and debug your code. I already taught you ADO.NET in the C# classes to you. Debug your code and just to check it out how the code is getting executed. But anything it is new to you here, that is the DAL code. That's all. There is no difference in the view code or there is no difference in the controller code or there is no difference in the model also. Only thing is DAL. Earlier we written this DAL code by using link to SQL. And today we have written the DAL code using ADO.NET. In NT framework, we skipped off the DAL. In NT framework, we skipped the DAL, no DAL. Directly we used to use data context straight away. Okay, these are all the students now. Click on add new student and try to add new student. 110. Okay. Stuart. Class 6. Fees 60,000. Choose a file. Save. Save. Clear? Actually, I have a student with a name called Stuart here. So I'll click edit. I will name it as Williams. I'm renaming it. Update. Okay, now. Okay. So done. So it is inserted. I just wanted to delete a record. 104. Delete. Deleted. 108. Delete. Deleted. Come to SQL and see. Select start. 4 and 8 are changing the status. The same old story, nothing is new. You can click on the view to see the record in full size. Okay, now, okay, this is all about how we are just going to work with ADO.NET and perform the operations like inserting, updating, deleting, all this stuff. Okay. So fine, well and good. So it's all about insert, update, delete operations. Only thing is, yeah, when you're working up with link here, we don't need to write much coding. We can just directly perform querying on it, and we can get off the data. In LINQ also, remember, when we return procedures in LINQ, DAL code is skipped. Second example, performing the CRUD operations by using store procedures, return the store procedures. Advantage, what is the advantage? They said you don't require a DAL code because methods are already defined by LINQ. What is the difference? Today we have store procedures. Even though we have store procedures, we only define the methods. Did you understand me? This example code is similar to the second example of your link to SQL. The second example of link to SQL, go and see the second example of link to SQL doesn't have a DAL class. In the DAL class, the methods are not there. First example has a DAL class methods. Second example doesn't have a DAL class, and said you reason also. What is the reason? Link has defined all the methods to you. Today, what is the problem? Link is not, I did not use link, so I defined the methods. You understood now? What is the advantage of link now? Link is going to reduce the burden on the programmers. See now, procedures also present, methods also defined by me. Everything I only done. But what is link telling? You write procedures, I'll write methods. But ADV.NET, you only write procedures, you only write methods, everything you only do. What NT framework is telling you? NT framework is telling, I will write methods to you, and I will also generate views also if you want. Entity framework, a controller with NT framework. What is it generating you? It will tell you, I will write the methods for you. I will generate the controllers for you. I will generate the action methods for you. I will generate the views for you. Everything is newly what came simplified the development process. It simplified the development process. Is it clear? So this is all how you work with the databases. This is all how you work with the databases. Okay, the next topic is filters. The next topic is filters. I'm not starting it now because actually I thought of taking a session tomorrow, but today only the staff is against me because everyone is given holidays. Only I was taking the session, it seems. But they said to take the class. That's why I started. Again, now they're telling, sir, no one has classes. So tomorrow no one is working. So unnecessary, at least one festival, I need to give them a chance because they will be working from morning to evening. The staff are working, so they want to enjoy. So let us, I'm not taking the session tomorrow. We'll meet back again on Monday only. Is that clear? Okay, I wish you all a happy Dasara. We'll meet back on Monday. We'll start with filters on Monday. Okay? Well, guys. Yes, the next class will be on next Monday, 10th. It is 10th. Huh? Oh, congrats, Amma. Ekada?